Grace learned the price of invisible defaults at 4:17 on a Wednesday afternoon. A corporate representative she had never met placed a severance folder on a white conference table. Inside was an offer equal to 4 months of salary, $47,300 before taxes and withholding. Grace was 51. She had spent 29 years building a career and 23 years inside the same manufacturing company in Grand Rapids. She had a master's degree, had managed teams of 40 people, and had become the human resources director. Her employer had dashboards for headcount, performance, turnover, and every deadline Grace owed the company. There had never been a dashboard for the retirement risk accumulating in Grace's own life. Then one meeting reduced her title to folder, but the number that frightened her most was not the severance. It was $1,159,512. That was the illustrative difference between investing $500 a month from age 22 and investing the same amount from age 38, assuming a 7% annual return through age 65. Same contribution, same assumed return, same destination, only the starting date changed. In the next few minutes, you will see why normal career success made that risk easy to miss, which systems kept tomorrow optional while making today's work urgent, and what Grace can still control at 52. Grace is a fictional composite. Her employer history and personal numbers are illustrations. The contribution limits, public data, and consumer guidance are real. No return in this story is a promise. Today, Grace has $87,000 in a 401k, $12,000 in savings, and 15 years remaining on a mortgage payment of $1,340 a month. She owes $4,200 on a Toyota Highlander. Her personal Social Security estimate shows about $18,600 a year if she claims at 62 and about $22,400 at 67. Grace is not broke. That is what made the danger difficult to see. She had done almost everything the career system made visible. She earned credentials. She accepted promotions. She stayed late. She kept the house. She made the payments. Salary, title, and performance were measured every quarter. Retirement readiness, portable earning power, emergency protection, and estate documents remained private, technical, and easy to postpone. Grace was not punished for being unintelligent. She was charged for living inside a system that made today's rewards automatic and tomorrow's protection optional. Call it the regret tax. The regret tax is the cost created when useful financial knowledge arrives after the calendar has already reduced its power. It is collected through opt-in benefits, career incentives that reward the present employer, and protection tasks that receive no deadline until a crisis creates one. Grace paid it through 3 mechanisms. The first was the default gap. Grace began working full-time at 22. In her fictional employment history, retirement plans were available, but enrollment required her to choose a contribution, select investments, understand plan language, and finish the process during onboarding. The company automatically enrolled her in payroll, taxes, health coverage, and every tool required to do her job. Retirement saving remained an optional task on her personal list. Grace did not open a retirement account until 38. For 16 years, every urgent work deadline arrived before the decision whose cost was still invisible. At 43, a colleague opened a compound interest calculator during a benefits meeting. Grace entered $500 per month, 43 years, and an estimated annual return of 7%. The result was approximately $1,638,000 by age 65. Then she changed only one input. She moved the starting age from 22 to 38, leaving 27 years. The result fell to approximately $478,500. The difference was approximately $1,159,500. That is not money an employer literally removed from Grace's account. It is not a guaranteed market outcome. Returns vary. Fees, taxes, investment choices, and employment gaps change the result. It is a measurement of the power that an opt-in decision loses when no system makes the delay visible. Investor.gov provides a compound interest calculator built around 4 inputs: starting amount, monthly contribution, time, and estimated return. 3 inputs can be changed later. Time cannot be deposited retroactively. Grace's actual balance is $87,000, not $478,000. Her contributions after 38 averaged closer to $300 a month, with pauses during job changes and tight periods. Those transitions are not unusual. Bureau of Labor Statistics data for January 2024 put median tenure with the current employer at 9.6 years for workers aged 55 to 64. Every transition can create another point where a retirement account must be moved, restarted, or deliberately left alone. The lesson is not that Grace should hate her younger self. The lesson is that a system built around repeated opt-in decisions creates repeated opportunities for the long-term plan to disappear behind today's emergency. The second mechanism was the career incentive gap. Grace earned a master's degree in human resources management at 29. She became excellent at the work her employer measured. At 45, she helped recruit for a management role that required deeper accounting and financial analysis skills. The posted salary was $118,000. Grace was earning $84,000. The difference was $34,000 a year. Across 7 years through age 52, that gap represents $238,000 of gross earning capacity. Grace was not guaranteed that job. The comparison does not include taxes, credential costs, career risk, or whether the role would have fit her life. It reveals the incentive. Her company gave immediate rewards for solving company problems. No quarterly review measured whether her skills remained portable, whether her income could survive a layoff, or whether she was building options outside one employer. Grace did not need another expensive degree. She needed an earlier question the career ladder never asked: which capability increases both my value here and my control if here disappears? The third mechanism was protection friction. Payroll withholding happened automatically. Insurance comparisons, emergency savings, beneficiaries, a will, and a healthcare directive did not. Each task required research, passwords, forms, and decisions after Grace had already spent the day making decisions for everyone else. Grace bought term life insurance at 41 instead of 30. In her fictional case, waiting increased the premium by $27 a month. Across 11 years, that difference totaled $3,564. Before she built a real emergency fund, 6 unexpected expenses went onto credit cards. The interest connected to those emergencies totaled about $14,000 across 2 decades. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau explains the mechanism. Without savings, a financial shock may become credit card or loan debt, and interest and fees can make the original expense much larger. Grace also delayed creating a will and healthcare directive. When her mother died without a will, probate and lost asset value cost the family approximately $18,000. In Grace's fictional story, those direct protection costs add to $35,564. Notice what we are not going to do. We are not adding the $1.16 million compounding illustration, the $238,000 career counterfactual, and the $35,000 direct cost total. Those numbers answer different questions and partly overlap. Adding them would manufacture a dramatic number that does not exist. The honest conclusion is already strong enough. When a system makes present work mandatory and future protection optional, delay becomes the default. But the story does not end in the conference room. Grace is 52 now. She cannot recover 16 lost years, but she can stop the regret tax from charging another one. She is not relying on more discipline. She is replacing optional decisions with automatic systems. First, protect the base. Grace keeps her $12,000 of emergency savings liquid instead of exposing it to stock market risk. That reserve protects the mortgage, medical costs, and car repairs from returning to a credit card. She reviewed every insurance policy, created a will, named beneficiaries, and completed a healthcare directive. She placed one annual review date on the calendar instead of waiting for a crisis to create the deadline. Second, automate retirement saving before work consumes the decision. For 2026, the IRS employee deferral limit for most 401k plans is $24,500. A participant age 50 or older may be allowed an additional $8,000 catch-up contribution when plan rules and compensation permit. The 2026 IRA limit is $7,500, plus a $1,100 catch-up amount for someone 50 or older, subject to compensation, income, and eligibility rules. Those are legal ceilings, not targets. Grace's modeled plan uses $18,000 a year across eligible retirement accounts. The contribution occurs automatically after each paycheck. She does not sacrifice the mortgage, insurance, or emergency reserve merely to hide a maximum. Third, separate age 65 from age 67. Age 65 is an important Medicare milestone. It is not Grace's full Social Security retirement age. The Social Security Administration says people born in 1960 or later have a full retirement age of 67. Claiming at 62 reduces the monthly benefit compared with waiting until full retirement age. Grace is using her personalized Social Security statement, health, work capacity, taxes, and household needs to evaluate a claiming decision. She is not treating 62 or 67 as a universal answer. Fourth, make the house support the plan. Grace has 15 years left on her mortgage. She checked the rate, fees, and payoff schedule instead of refinancing merely to feel active. The existing path reaches zero near age 67. Fifth, use conservative labels. Here is the recovery illustration. If Grace's current $87,000 grows at an average 5% for 15 years, and if she adds $18,000 at the end of each year, the modeled balance at 67 is approximately $569,000. That number is not guaranteed. Returns may be lower. Contributions may pause. Taxes and fees matter. Investor.gov warns that diversification cannot guarantee protection from market losses. Using 4% only as a first-year planning illustration, $569,000 could support about $22,800 of withdrawals before taxes. Combined with Grace's personal Social Security estimate of $22,400 at 67, the illustration produces approximately $45,200 of gross annual income, plus a paid-off house if the mortgage schedule stays intact. Not $1.6 million. Not the life she could have modeled at 22. But it is control. It is heat in winter, medicine when needed, and the ability to visit her grandchildren without calculating whether the gas will create a credit card balance. Grace is also sending the lesson backward through time in the only way still available. Her children are 28 and 31. She showed them the same compound interest calculator. She did not tell them to chase 7% or buy a magic fund. She showed them how to make a future decision visible today. At a 7% illustration, delaying $500 a month from age 30 by 1 year reduces the age 65 result by approximately $66,500. At 40, the 1-year difference is approximately $33,100. At 50, it is approximately $16,500. These are illustrations, not debts anyone literally owes and not guaranteed returns. Their purpose is to make the cost of an invisible default visible before another calendar page falls. If you are between 38 and 52, do not wait for a severance folder to audit the systems around your future. Open your retirement account. Check the contribution rate. Check the beneficiary. Read your Social Security statement. Review the highest value scale you could carry to another employer. Put one protection deadline on the calendar. The answer is not to become more ashamed. The answer is to make the right action easier to repeat than the delay. Grace did not lose options because she lacked intelligence. She lost options because the systems measuring her success never measured the future they were consuming. The regret tax survives through invisible defaults, but another invisible tax survives through visible comparison. It turns the gap between your real life and somebody else's highlight reel into spending you never planned and debt you never needed. That is the comparison tax, and that is the next mechanism you need to see.